The new future of the Democratic Party. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Here we go.
All right, well, Republicans fight for capitalism. A socialist is now the face of the Democratic Party. They just nominated this guy in New York City on the Democratic side of the aisle.
Do you like capitalism?
No, I have many critiques of capitalism. Call myself a democratic socialist. We put forward a plan to start Trump-proofing our city, increasing the top corporate tax rate and increasing income tax.
And that's the best it gets.
In my opinion, if somebody doesn't like capitalism, they should go somewhere else. Like, I think that if you don't like capitalism and you want to replace it, you don't want to have capitalism, just go to a country that doesn't have capitalism. Yeah, get out. Go somewhere else.
Meet Zoran Mamdani. He's campaigning on fundamentally transforming New York into his social paradise.
It is the time for our city to be reborn, a new city with a new politics, where the worker...
I actually think that, so the issue is that, and this is the problem with somebody like this, is that they have a lot of these like extreme retard opinions, but they also have like really down-to-earth, reasonable opinions too. And I think that the first time that the Democratic Party is able to run a candidate like this, that doesn't have all of the weird baggage that this guy has, they're going to have that person win the presidency. But the problem is that every time one of these people emerges, they turn out to be some radical ideologue that has a bunch of reductive ideals. They can't anymore? Yeah, exactly, right? And that's the big issue that they have. Is that, like, this guy, I think he's got great charisma. He's a great speaker. I think he resonates with a lot of the younger people there. A lot of people like him there. Why is it that they can't recreate somebody like this that doesn't have all of this baggage? I don't understand that. He knows how to speak. Yeah, he's a great speaker for sure.
Comes first.
And what is his signature economic policy? Government-run grocery stores.
I will create a network of city-owned grocery stores. We will redirect city funds from corporate supermarkets to city-owned grocery stores.
Where have we seen this before? I don't know. Have a look.
Soviet Russia?
The state food stores are called the gastronome shops. You locate what you want. You stand in line to learn if it's available. Then you queue up in another line and buy that particular food ticket. Then you line up again and you acquire the desired food. Unless what you've selected has been sold out in the meantime.
Yeah, let's run it like we run the DMV, folks. That's the way to do it. That's what's going to get New York City back on track. Mamdani's...
Wouldn't you agree, though, how late-stage capitalism is ruining everything? It's the direct cause of enshittification. It's just something you've made multiple videos of, dog. It's fair to have critiques of capitalism, and you for sure. No, not really. I mean, capitalism is the best system in the world, and every country that doesn't use it is a piece of shit. And that's historically been proven with 100% accuracy. I think that a lot of people don't want unregulated capitalism. And they don't want crony capitalism. But that doesn't mean that at a core, that's not clearly the best decision.
Radical policies are sending New Yorkers into a panic. The Wall Street Journal reports that some developers and landlords are making...
And here's another component that a lot of people might not realize, is that a lot of the most negative effects of late-stage capitalism are actually outcomes through regulation that's created and lobbied for by these companies that ensure some sort of monopoly or market control. So most examples and like manifestations of, what people would say, quote, is late stage capitalism is actually just late stage corruption. And so you have companies that effectively pull the ladder up on competition. They create regulations so other people can't enter the market. They have unfair consumer practices. And so the real core problem there isn't necessarily capitalism. It's the merging with government and business and them working hand in hand. That's really where the issues are. It's corporatism? Yes, exactly. And that's like basically... unregulated capitalism is a disaster. And the first thing that happens with unregulated capitalism is the people with all the capital regulate it. Like, that's what happens instantaneously. And so you have to have regulations and you have to have rules. But at the same time, to say that this kind of stuff is problematic is just completely untrue. The chatter speaking as if there's a late-stage capitalism has proven successful in history. Private interest always takes priority late game. Yeah, of course it does. If you compare USA and Sweden, both capitalist countries, one's a lot healthier, even with higher taxes. I'd much prefer to live in Sweden. I wouldn't. I hear it's a shithole. It's been infested by a bunch of people that are like violent migrants. Yeah, not anymore. Maybe 20 years ago, sure, but not now.
Operations to flee the city, and real estate agents are preparing for an exodus. One agent told the New York Post, quote, "My number one job will be moving people from New York to Florida again." But the New York Times calls him a new political star. And another far-left paper
He absolutely is. And I think that people there has to be a degree of soul searching in the political community. Why a person like this resonates so much with so many people. You can't just call this guy a radical communist and just, it's the same way, like you couldn't just call Donald Trump a racist and, oh, okay, well, everybody's just going to immediately say, oh, well, oh my God, he's a racist. Oh no, never mind. I can't have these viewpoints anymore. That's not what's going to happen. And so don't do that. Yeah, it didn't work with Donald Trump, and it's not going to work with Zoan either, right? I think that both of these people are people that represent a massive amount of people that have been disenfranchised by a system, and they look towards iconoclastic leaders like someone like Donald Trump or Mandami or anybody else like this. They look at these people as destroyers of the system because they feel like the system has oppressed them. That's the reason why they're symptomatic of systematic issues. Yes, exactly. So you really shouldn't, like, this guy isn't the problem. The problem is that people voted for him. And why did people vote for him? That's your problem. Don't blame him. Blame the voters.
It's encouraging Democratic establishment to follow his example as a blueprint to future elections.
Mm-hmm.
I am delighted, and it's good to see that kind of energy come in.
The relentless focus on affordability had great appeal all across the city of New York.
This is about the message that the people of New York City are trying to send to our party.
That doesn't mean anything.
If Mamdani is the future of the Democrats, the party may be in for a rude awakening come November of 2026. Even the Washington Post editorial board is warning them to, quote, Democrats should fear that he will discredit their...
Never listen to the Washington Post as just some bullshit fucking news article, publication. Every one of these news companies is owned by a large special interest that has a vested interest in making people believe something. So every time that you hear somebody get discounted like this by mainstream media and by all of these different places, the reason why Jeff Bezos, yeah, there you go. And this is true with Fox, CNN, MSNBC, NBC, all of this stuff. They're all the same. You should never look at something like this objectively because it's not objective. There's a goal that these people have in mind.
Next generation of party leaders, almost all of whom are better than this Democratic socialist. Ouch. David, this guy's taking a really radical position out here.
Well, is there any real surprise? I mean, this guy is the Sadiq Khan of New York, and you saw what happened to London under him. This is a playbook that's been underway for a long time. The New York City Council, go back to the Christine Quinn days. I mean, I know we're kind of localizing it, but you got to understand that it's a weak mayor town with a strong leftist city council and, frankly, ineffective Republicans on the council. There's been no opposition to their march in New York State, because it's not just about Mandami. You talk about the Working Families Party. You talk about Letitia James, who was their candidate all the way to the AG spot. You talk about Kathy Hochul, and now you give them New York City. This is a playbook that works. You look at the SEIU, Leuna 108.
The reason why it works is because he talks about housing. That's the reason why. He talks about issues that directly affect people, and people are willing to put the bullshit, weird views that he has behind them and vote for him anyway. It's the exact reason why people voted for Donald Trump. They might have thought Donald Trump is a psychopath, racist, maybe even a rapist, but this person still also wants to do something that's in my best interest. So you view yourself as aligned with him and you vote for him anyway. I would argue that I think that the majority of people, if you ask them, do you think Donald Trump has ever committed a felony? Most people that voted for Trump would say yes. But does that really change the reason why they're voting for him? No, absolutely not. People would vote for a murderer if they thought that that murderer was going to give them a better life. So this entire premise that you have to attack people on their character, and you have to look at this, you have to look at like, what is the value proposition that these people have? No, they wouldn't. Of course they would. Absolutely they would. I mean, we've had people that have like, what are you talking about? It's not even a question. Absolutely they would. How do you think like all elections went for like probably many, how do you think chiefs were chosen in villages? How do you think warlords were decided in ancient times? It's simple. It's simple. Every single time. Yeah, people comes first. Yeah, people's life comes first. They wouldn't admit it publicly, and people would never admit it. Like, and again, they would do this, yeah, by force, exactly. And also when people are afraid, that's whenever they want that person even. And I think that you saw that a lot of people really don't like the fact that Donald Trump is so flippant and outspoken about just like, remember whenever people were really mad when he said like, oh, like, what's the problem? Well, we're just going to bomb the shit out of him. And then like him talking shit about like how he killed somebody, posting like videos of somebody dying. Oh, he died like a dog. People tone policing him for that and saying this is like horrible psychopath behavior. But the moment that that psychopath behavior is directed on Iran, someone who, or a group that they feel like deserves it, now they're rooting for Trump and they're saying this is a good thing and people are feeling safe. So really in a lot of cases, there's a comfort that people have whenever they're criticizing people who are willing and even enthusiastic about being violent. But the moment that violence comes to their doorstep, they're crying for those people to come help them. And I think that this is another manifestation of that. Is that they see a person who has a lot of very incendiary, you know, in sometimes cases like violent rhetoric, but it doesn't matter because he's going to be violent to the people that you don't like. That's the reason why. It's literally that simple. It's hypocrites? No, it's not hypocrites. It's survival. Like people want, like that's the same reason as like, you know, the El Salvador. Like, you guys know that the guy in El Salvador violated multiple human rights problems, and like the UN has all these issues with like the way that he put people in CCOD and everything like that. And does anybody care? Does it matter? No, because all the people that are complaining about it are in a fucking box being forced to work and probably being killed. So it doesn't matter. See, everybody thinks that they are like above this and like this is some kind of like fucking high-minded ideal. But the moment that they're actually confronted with any sort of real threat, they will immediately default, like go back to factory reset settings and want a person like Bukele or like Trump who will just simply bomb the shit out of them or send the military in and kill anybody who disagrees. That's the reason. Like, you think this won't happen, it'll happen instantly. Duarte is the best example. Duarte literally just executed and just massacred drug dealers. Just indiscriminately. Just killed tons of them. And everybody was happy. How does that happen? It's simple. People feel like their survival is at stake. That's the reason. He got arrested? Yeah, he got arrested by a third party, not by his own government or by his own people. What the fuck are you saying? Hitler also won office? Yeah, I mean, obviously Hitler's another good example of that too. Yeah, for sure. People will easily and always vote for somebody who is like violent and aggressive if they think it's something that's going to achieve a goal. Give me 1 second. Gotta take a call. And he's good. Yeah. Well, let me finish the video first.
York City. This is a playbook that works. You look at the SEIU, Liuna 108, all the other players in New York who are going to go in and soak the city. And here's the thing. They can't stop the people with the ability from leaving. The people who run the city on a daily basis, workers of every color, they can't afford to live here. New York City is going to see the opposite of what was Ed Koch's and Rudy Giuliani's vision and save in New York to put it back on the right track. Look what de Blasio, look at Adams, look what comes next, and be afraid.
Well, but Mayor Adams looking pretty good compared to this guy, Molly.
Well, I think the real question here isn't so much about are the socialists going to take over the Democratic Party and are they leading right now, but are they outworking the moderates? This guy shook the hands.
They are outworking them, and more importantly, their ideals are more popular. This is the issue that they need to contend with. Stop thinking about this from a structural level and think about it from a grassroots perspective. There's a reason why all of these people promoted this and were fans of it. Free stuff is popular? No, it's a lot more complicated than that. Both his policies, the city will go bankrupt if he wins the mayoral election. Well, then they should have put out a better candidate. If, like, I don't, like, that's not, the thing is that that's bad. Obviously, that's really bad. Of course, that's bad. But if they didn't want that to happen, they should have taken the concerns that people had more seriously, and that way they wouldn't have resorted to electing an extremist. That's the reason. Yeah, this is a democratic consequence. Exactly. These people were ignored for a long time, and now they're not getting ignored, and they can force their viewpoint, and now things are changing. And until you address the core problem, nothing is going to change. And that's it. Democrat Party is so disconnected from the people. Yes, it is disconnected from the people completely. One of the richest city in the world will go bankrupt with one mayor a term. Idiotic take by a chatter. Yeah, I'm just saying in general, right? But let's see if I can look at this here.
Walked the city. He had the energy. He did the work. And where is he today? Where did he literally go today? When all the chips fell, it turned out there were a lot of wealthy white voters, Asian voters. He was had a lot of upper class, high educated voters, and didn't appeal to the black vote as well. He was in Harlem today. He's out there still working it. So the question is, are the moderates going to be able to claw back some of that energy that seems to be on the progressive side going forward?
The energy doesn't matter if the message is bad. You can have all the energy in the world, but if the like, look at Michael Bloomberg, for an example, like, in the 2020 election, like his message was just simply bad and it didn't resonate with anybody. So that's the real reason why he failed. So you need to look at policies, and yes, obviously charisma matters, everything like this matters, but also money matters. People being able to afford their shit matters. And that's the main thing.
Yeah, he's taken this interesting position. If we put up this quote from his tax plan, shift the tax burden from overtaxed homeowners in the outer boroughs to more expensive homes in richer and whiter neighborhoods.
Shifting the tax burden from overtaxed homeowners in the outer boroughs to more expensive homes in richer and whiter neighborhoods. That's crazy. It's insane to me that any white people vote for Democrats at all. It is a shock. I would never vote for a Democrat as a white person in my life. How is this allowed? It's not. But the thing is, is that for real? Yeah. I mean, imagine saying this about black people. This would be insane. You're a minority. It's kind of racist. Yes, of course. No, I have a very, very simple principle. If a person will disadvantage me because of my gender or my race, I will never vote for them, and I will actively work against them in every way that I possibly can. It's literally that simple to me. So if I have anybody that does that, any type of mindset like this, period, like it is literally a single kid logic, I swear. I think it is. I do think it's kid logic. Oh, right. Let's just go after people based off of their race. Like, again, as a white person, I would never vote for a Democrat in my life, and I don't know why any other white person would ever. It is crazy that people actively vote for people that want to 100% disenfranchise them on the basis of their skin color.
That's his policy. And the part about the grocery store, I mean, you have experience with this.
Yeah, I was just at a grocery store on Friday, and I've been in multiple grocery stores across the city because crime has been such a big issue. The problem is New York City, like most of the country, but acutely here, is too expensive. Young people feel they can't afford to live here. So
exactly. And that's the reason why they're voting for him. If you don't address people's concerns, they will vote for somebody who does. We already went through this. The Democrats went through this with Donald Trump. Like, this has already happened, and now it's happening again. Like, I don't know how people can't see the parallels with this.
Here comes this guy who has done a lot of good groundwork and has a very strong social media presence. And he's promising, I'm going to make things better. I'm going to make it more affordable. Who doesn't want that? And of course, who doesn't want free stuff? The problem is his execution is all wrong, and the voters don't see past the social media. Grocery store margins, 1.6%.
They don't care about that. Like, most people don't care about the details. They care about having a politician who at least attempts to try to resonate with them. Fucking, what's his name? Chris Cuomo, I forgot, Anthony Cuomo, I forgot, Andrew Cuomo, does not resonate with average voters. He's a career politician who didn't live in New York for like over a decade. He did, Andrew, he doesn't like, you need to look at the real reasons why you're losing and stop calling the voters stupid, because the voters are never going to be smart. The only way that you can guarantee that voters are smart is if you take away a lot of people's voting rights, which I think is a great idea, but that's not what they're going to do.
These grocers are not taking home more money. But hey, if you have a congestion tax where now it's X amount more expensive to even get your groceries into the city, the grocers then need to charge more because they're charging more for when it's coming in.
Yeah.
The math doesn't add up, but he's touched on something so important that I think the Republicans in the city have long struggled to do, which is that it is too expensive here. But the way to fix that is not to say you're going to give you everything for free, because millionaires being taxed an extra 2%, they leave. You have no money if all the folks, and I'm hearing this, if Mamdani wins, people are moving. And if you don't have your revenue base in the wealthy in New York, you don't have government-run grocery stores.
Exactly. Makes a lot of sense.
Hey, Sean Hannity here.
I don't think there's going to be a lot of people that are going to leave. I think some people will that have a lot of money, but I think many people will not end up leaving. And so we'll see what happens, but that's it. Trust funds go burr. There's the video right there. And they won't leave New York City. I think some of them will for sure. They absolutely will. I mean, to say that they won't at all, I think that's crazy. I think they absolutely will. Yeah, class wars have begun. Well, I don't even think this is really class war. I mean, I think to a certain degree it is. But there's also a lot of identity politics that are like going into it as well. So there's a lot of factors. My dad called me. He said they're discharging him today. So I'm going to have to end the stream early and go pick him up and take him home. And then I'm going to be caught up doing like probably 5 or 10 other things after that. And thank you guys very much. Absolutely. And, it's a short day. Hopefully tomorrow I'm going to be back on and we can get back to our regularly scheduled programming. Tax rights wars were racism. Yeah, it definitely is. And again, it's insane to me that so many people vote for this. But unfortunately, that's what happens nowadays. And I don't know really what to do about it. I think, honestly, this problem will kind of resolve itself over time. But it will probably have to get worse first in order for people to acknowledge that it is a problem. And then once they do, then I think that people will definitely push back about it really, really hard. And let's see here.
So what's your take?
I should be the mayor.
I don't know, man.
Okay.
Well, I'm getting all these pieces of mail. Hold on here.
Yeah.
They keep sending me mail that says that you shouldn't be the mayor.
What are these guys saying?
Okay, let me see. This one says support higher taxes and more fees on New Yorkers. I don't want to pay more taxes.
Do you make $1 million or more a year?
100% disagree.
So then your taxes are not going up. The only taxes that we are proposing are on the 1% of New Yorkers who make $1 million or more a year.
What are you going to do about the price of matcha lattes?
100% not sure.
Okay.
I mean, they're $9. Yeah.
I only want to make
this is
$9.
You can win this campaign. easily if you lower the cost of matcha lattes.
I can only make the promises I can keep.
This says NYC can't risk a mayor who supports defunding the police.
Well, no matter how many pieces of literature you get sent, I'm not defunding the police. I'm actually working with the police to create public safety by ensuring
I think these people have a huge messaging problem. They have a massive messaging problem because if you say you're not defunding the police and people say you're defunding the police and you say, no, I'm not, then why are you tweeting out to defund the police? Like, can't you see how this is confusing for people? Can't you see how somebody would look at this and be like, ah, man, I don't know what to believe right now?
Do their jobs, focus on serious crimes, and creating a department of community safety that'll focus on mental health, homelessness.
Yeah, and his idea about this is a good idea, by the way, that police officers should not be used as Swiss Army knives for every single problem. The kind of person who's trained on how to de-escalate a domestic violence situation should not always be the same person that comes over in order to fix a, like there's like a dog attack. And it should not be the same person who is arresting a drug dealer. Police officers are expected to be Swiss Army knives. I think it spreads them very thin. It makes them operate out of multiple areas that are outside of what I would say their competency is. And I think that you probably should have a more gradation between different types of public service enforcement and not a binary police officer, nothing, right? I think this is, I agree with this. Who's paying for it? Well, the tax dollars would pay for it, right? So you would reallocate tax dollars to have some people that would go after things that would be nonviolent.
Technically, the police force will stay the same, but there will be more people doing other stuff.
And we're saying that no longer do police officers have to do the jobs of mental health professionals and social workers.
Yeah, this is a good idea.
They can focus on shooting.
This is what's disappointing about people like this is that I think this guy has a lot of ideas. I agree with this. I think this is a good idea, but I'm not going to be on board with somebody that wants to negatively affect me because of my race. That's it. So y'all need more funding? Yeah.
And serious crimes in the city.
What the police should do. That makes a lot of sense. You don't see me doing other jobs on the subway. This is my job. This is all I do.
Do the job that you signed up for.
I'm not driving the damn train.
No, you're not.
All right, this says that you have a radical plan to put homeless in the subway system.
This is just 3 for 3, a lie that you're getting in your literature. Yeah. Let's look at the little print of who's actually paying for this. This is being paid for by Michael Bloomberg, by DoorDash, and by Bill Ackman. Bill Ackman is a Trump-supporting billionaire.
What the hell is DoorDash doing funding an election? It makes no sense.
And then finally, Michael Bloomberg dropped $8.3 million on Andrew Cuomo's super PAC. That's the same amount of money we raised for more than 20,000 people. That's the kind of mismatch here between ordinary people and billionaires.
Should have used $1 million to subsidize machos. I mean, seriously, it's a good idea. People would stay in New York. Who does end up leaving the city?
I think that you're going to have probably a lot of people. If he raises taxes on richer people in the city, I think you're going to have probably a lot of people leave the city. I think that's just logically what would happen. Why would somebody, I know multiple people personally that, used to live in California and things weren't so great in California because of the taxes, and then they left California, right? Video of him realistic if he got mugged while being on camera. Well, the problem is that, and this is the issue, is that I think that places like New York, and I don't live in New York, so I'm only speaking secondhand, but I know in Austin, the problem isn't that you need less policing. The problem is you need more of it. And the issue is that, not cooperating with immigration officials, not putting people that are violent and aggressive on subways in jail. This is just, again, asking for problems. And I think that there's a tremendous amount of empathy for evil that turns into cruelty to the innocent. I think that's what happens. And I think this is a good example of it, right?